Alrighty, hello everybody, and welcome back to the channel. Okay, so I did end up making a distance calculator. It doesn't work quite the way you might think. Let me explain. Now, I'm not smart enough yet. I don't know enough yet. There's a lot of these, like, gates and stuff that I could probably be using to assist me. I don't know, maybe not. I'm not sure. But there's a couple of things here that I'm either overlooking or I'm not too sure about. So, to get our speed, first, we need to calculate the distance we've traveled. And then we need to divide that by time. The time it took to travel that distance. So, when I press a button, it saves our current position. Okay. Then it turns on a timer, and then the timer sends an output, and then it saves our position 3 seconds later. Then what I do is I divide. Actually, hold on a second. The first thing I do is I subtract where we were from where we are. That gives us our distance. Then what I do is I divide that distance then by time, how long it took us to travel that distance. And that gives us our speed. Okay? Now, there's a few problems with this whole system, and I'll explain why. So, I had this whole system set up on a blinker, and the blinker wouldn't work. And this and that, and this and that, and this and that. So these numbers, we need a pulse, a button, in order to save the number. Alright, so that's to pulse it and save it. Simple as that. The timer requires a constant on signal for the timer to be active. So you can't just have a push button and have the timer activate. No. You have to have a constant on signal going to the timer, and then the timer will roll through its duration. So the timer is constantly active, and it will constantly count however long you tell it to count, over and over and over again. Now, if you don't tell it to reset, what it will do is it will get to the end of its count, and then it will constantly put out an on signal. It'll constantly put out an on signal, and it won't reset. So, I tried to think about how I could build some latency in here. You see the problem? The problem is I have to save where we are, and then 3 seconds later I have to save where we are, and then I have to calculate the distance, and then I calculate our speed from that. So what I would like to do after that is save that number again so I could then print it. But to do that, I would need another button, because for some reason I can't seem to, if I tell this to save on this side, I can't get that number to save on this side. Do you see? Now, I'm looking at this and I'm going, if I put this into a Lua block, I might be able to do that. But again, anyways, it doesn't matter, because, so, it doesn't matter. Yeah. Right? This has to be an isolated circuit. It has to be an isolated circuit. If we're actively reading that number, then that active number is going to be passed through the circuit. So we need to find a way to isolate it. We isolate it here, we isolate it here, and we isolate it again. But if I isolate it for a third time, I have to have another button to isolate the number for a third time. Right? So by the time we get here in the circuit, this number is only going to show for 3 seconds, and then it's going to be reset. So every 3 seconds, that number is going to be reset. but it fluctuates. It shows the raw value, and then it shows the actual value. And then it shows the raw value, and then it shows the actual value. And it requires us to press the button every 3 seconds. And now why is that? I'm not sure. But we'll test it right now. I'll test it with the blinker, and I'll try and... So the blinker needs a constant on signal. And this has to go every... It turns on for a split second, and then it waits. It can even wait 3.5 seconds. All right, so let's see if I can, now that we know what the distance calculator looks like, now you're going to see the problem that we get when we try and print the values. So those are the values there. You see they're at 0. So it should, in theory, be calculating our speed. Every 3 seconds we should be getting a value for speed. There. You see how it resets? So that's not the value we want. The value we want is that one there. Is that right? 136. That's the number that we want. So, what is happening? What is happening? Okay, so that's when it's set up to a blinker. It's just the circuit is totally messed up. So when we are able to manually calculate it, and don't ask me why, this is just the way the circuit appears to work. I've been here for like a couple hours just getting frustrated over how frustrating some of this is to try and piece together. It's awful. So we launch, all right? There, that's our linear speed. Not very accurate. Sucks. The problem, why does it suck? Okay, so it sucks because we need a couple of different things. We need first off, the timer needs a constant on signal, but we don't want the timer to start until we want to capture the numbers. Otherwise, the timer is going to be constantly capturing numbers, and it's just going to cause us problems further on when we try and further calculate the number. So what we need to do, okay, that's one problem. The other problem is, in order to store the numbers, we can't use a constant on signal. We need to have a pulse. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to build a single circuit which has two different functions in it: a constant on signal and a pulse. And unfortunately in Stormworks, you just can't do that, and that is the whole problem here. So as you saw with the blinker, it was sending a pulse to the whole system, but that pulse was so frequent that we weren't able to accurately keep up. So maybe we need to change this to 5 seconds, and then every 5 seconds, let's try that. It'll throw the cast the linear speed into the system. So you see the latency Oh, but then the problem is, okay, so that's part of it. That's part of it. So we've got two different problems here, right? So the timer needs a constant on signal, but to reset it, it needs a pulse. To save the numbers, they need a pulse. Yeah, it's weird. So I need to press the pulse once, and that gives us our number. But this is set to on. Then I need to press the pulse again. This is turned off. And then I need to press the pulse again, and then this is turned on. Do you see? So every second reading, I need to press the button twice in this scenario here. So if I bypass that, and I just tell the timer to be constantly on, and then I tell it to reset when I push the button, let's see what happens. So now we're just kind of playing around. It took me an hour to kind of figure out how I want it to work and to figure out what kind of worked and what kind of didn't work. And now I'm still playing with it. I'm still just trying to dial it in. But for that, we have to launch, right? We have to launch every single time in order for it to be accurate. There, 122. Okay, so it seems to be working just well. So now instead of us pressing the button, let's see if we can upgrade it to the blinker. And then the blinker will press it every 5 seconds. It should give us the number. All right. Yeah, so that's the hard part, is trying to figure out how do I connect these two together, and how should I connect them together? Because there's so many ways that you can do it, so many ways that work, so many ways that don't work, that it's just hard to see. Now it's giving us a constant on signal. Oh, now it's turned off. So that's our linear speed. Not this one. That one there, 137. And that should be meters per second, because we're calculating this in meters per second. This is our distance that we've traveled in meters, y, x, and z, I think that is what that is. Well, that's z and that's x. So you see how it's resetting? So I was hoping it wouldn't show that number, but anyway, it doesn't matter. So that's pretty much how fast we're going. There you go. There we have it. So that's not too bad, actually. So I was hoping to save it on this side, and so we don't see that that negative 140 or whatever, because that isn't the right number. I was trying to save it on this side, but I wasn't sure how to add that into the circuit. So we don't need this toggle button anymore, and we don't need this. What input is that? That's the speed button. I've eliminated the actual button finally. Cool. Yeah, maybe I'll output this here. And then that just kind of like... Right, so what I did is I just made a little panel, and I'm connecting these blinkers to the panel. and then it's just like added lights, for in the cockpit, just some different stuff. Okay, so there you have it. So we need to save where we are, and then 3 seconds later we need to save where we are. Then we need to subtract those two numbers. That gives us our distance. We then need to divide that by how long it took us to travel that distance, which is 3 seconds. And that's it. And then that gives us our speed in meters per second. So we needed to set up a timer, and in order to do that, we needed a constant on signal for the timer. And we also needed to tell it to reset. So that way it doesn't constantly give us a constant on signal. Actually, yeah, and maybe what I should do is I should get this blinker instead of that. Get this blinker going. There we go. And then what I did is I just made this composite output, so that way I could output the blinkers onto the so I could see if they were working. Right, because we have this blinker here, we have this button here, and then we have this blinker twice. Oh, and then the timer. Right, so that's that. I guess it wasn't really, after you figure it out, it really isn't that hard. It took me a little bit to figure this out. So now, again, the last part would be to try to save that number, so it's constantly on the screen. I guess it is still kind of constantly on the screen. But to do that, oh, I see. It's on for the duration of the timer until it's reset. So that might actually work. Let's see. Or it's going to do the same thing it was just doing. It might just do the same thing it was just doing. All right. Let's test this out. Got a number. Oh yeah, and it's every 5 seconds it's giving us that number. So that's, I mean, that's okay. We can tone it down a little bit, but the faster it is, I've noticed, the sloppier the accuracy is. You know, so we sort of have to kind of, it's a little difficult, right? It's a little difficult to kind of, you know. So what we need to do is we need more sensors on the ship so we can collect more data about what is happening to the ship, so we can get a better idea of, are we actually stopped? You know, are we actually stopped in space? Are we still rotating? So now what we need to start looking at is that. We need to look at charting our rotation, charting that part of it, and yeah, and just going from there. So now we're going to get more into the Lua. We're basically going to repeat the radar, because making the compass is the same thing as making the radar compass. So we'll do that in the next video. We'll make the radar compass, and we'll probably put it on this screen here. But what I want to do is I want to upgrade this monitor. This one is going to be a 2x3, and I think the other one is as well. And then what we're going to focus on, I don't know what that one was. Nose thrusters. Probably just so I can check the speeds. We don't need that. Yeah, and right now when you're sitting in the seat, the monitor comes on. So it's just easy that way. All right. Then what I'll do now, what we'll do is we'll design a better interface for the spaceship. That's what we're gonna do in the next video. We're gonna start working on the spaceship interface. Ooh, this is gonna be exciting. So see, then what I want to do is I just want to like, maybe this one's red, right? Maybe this one's green. You know, this one's orange. Like whatever. It's just something in the background that just kind of, you know. Here, let's see how that looks. And now we have more room. I'll make a border there, so when we sit inside it, it'll say, you know, this is our spaceship, whatever, spaceship interface, right? There, see? Well, that's cool. And then the buttons, they just kind of go, right? And then now we have more room, and then maybe what I'll do is I'll put a couple of touch screens. I know we got this. I'm gonna move this to the outside. We'll get that out of the way, and I'll put some touch screens in the middle. Is what I'll do. Here, it's only 20-minute video. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. There we go. Then we'll have a couple of monitors in the center, which are going to be touch screens for whatever, and then we'll probably have a couple more buttons there. Do we need, what's this one here? Speed. So we don't need this button. And what was this one here? The nose cone. Okay, and then what do we have? This one there turns on our distance. I might just make that constantly on as well. The distance. Oh, because it has to be, we have to calculate it. That's right. Okay. So somewhere in here, maybe when we'll have to set this up. That's just a push button. Okay. And I don't know what these were. Oh, these are the thrusters. Yeah, I'm gonna have to figure that out as well. We'll have to do some space flight here. Okay, and then this is just one of our control screens. Can be on that side. Perfect. Well, now we sort of have a system, a setup, and we have one bit of code that we have been able to create. And then now what we want to do is we want to add to it. How do we want to add to it? Gee, that's a really good question. I think, in all honesty, we'll probably end up running it through another one. It's right on there, right? Yes, like that. Oh, those two need to be moved. Yeah. So we'll probably output that into here, and then we'll do some other stuff. What I need to do now is I need to clean up the numbers and how they print on the screen. So now that we have more room, let's just do that then. Let's do that. So the numbers and how they print on the screen. They're in 5, but I mean, we may as well make these ones in 2. This is our X, Y, and Z. And then this is the distance. Yeah, this would be okay. So where do we draw a text box here? Oh yeah, we can get properties. There's a lot of things that we can do with the code. Alright, so this will be 1 by maybe 32. And the width is 62. And the height is going to be 18. Perhaps let's try 19. I think we can just do that, actually. Oh no, I'm not text box. I want to draw a rectangle. I want to draw a rectangle. So we need to draw a rectangle. There we go. Now these were pretty close. These were pretty close. Oh, they were pretty close because this one's down a fair amount. The first one's, I guess it starts at 2. And then this could be 7. And this could be 13. Let's try that. Oh, down at the bottom. Why? There we go. Then we'll adjust these ones down a little bit. Oh, this is a 2 by 3. It's actually 64. Yes, yes, yes. I'm sure I am thinking our maximum width is 32. It's actually 64. So, I mean, we could move these down quite a bit. But I want to put some stuff below it. And then this one here will be in 1, and it's going to be down 21. And it's going to be 62. 19. We'll try the same thing. We'll see how it looks. Right, so now we're starting to build the interface for our rocket. Oh, draw a text box. There we go. Cool. Now we want these to be in just a little bit. Maybe 2 is we want to have a little bit of a space there. Maybe a 1 pixel space. That'll work. And that's it. So now maybe on this one here we have our distance, and we have this, which is, this will be our distance here, this is our speed, and I believe that is our current XYZ. So we'll have a data here, and then I think maybe here on this side we'll have our rotation, 1, 2, and 3. So we need another screen here. Yeah, and then we'll figure it out. We'll figure out something. I don't know, that's the thing, I don't know if we can do it all. Maybe we can't do all that on one screen. Maybe we have to have, because we only have 8,000 characters, right? So maybe we'll have to do the rotation on the other one. Yeah, that's what we'll have to do. So on this screen, I guess for data, the other thing we could do is we could calculate our total fuel. And yeah, I guess we could do that. We could calculate our total fuel. We could just take one tank, I suppose, and multiply it by the whole system. What is that? 1, 2. That's 8. Add them all together. Let's see. Let's see, where could we do this? Where could we do this? Where would be a good place to do this? Just on the side, why not? Yeah, we can make this look good. So what we have to do is take our tank content and our tank content. We need to add that and that together. There we go. And then we'll do one for oxygen. Oxygen's pretty easy. We just need to, just 3, I think. Yeah, we can't get the exact. So now we need to do it for the other ones. They're reversed. They are reversed. Now the pressure, we only need to pull that off of one tank because the whole system is connected together. Okay, so that's all of that. I guess it's just 4 of them. All right, so that's that one there. So we don't need like this one. Oh, that's that. Okay, so that's that upload. I'm just confusing myself here. No reason. All right, tank content. All right, so that should be that. For some reason, is there one that I didn't use? All right, for some reason I ended up not using that. Don't ask me why. I'm sure I forgot something somewhere. Okay, so this outputs. Oh, that was the other one on this side too. Yeah, I thought so. I thought there was one on that. Okay. This is our main thruster oxygen and main thruster hydrogen. Okay, so let's input that. Don't get too confused here. Into here. Oh, we'll need 4. Okay, this one, number, main, hydro. This one here, number, main oxygen. This one here, number, secondary hydrogen. And this one here, secondary oxygen. All right. So all this works. Let's get this out of here. Secondary oxy, secondary hydro. So we keep track of that. And that's going to go into this Lua here. So this is starting backwards, and the other one is starting forwards. So let's do 2 things. Let's look at how many channels we're going to take from the astronomy sensor. Up to channel 11. All right. So we could say we'll start at channel 14. We need to have 4 channels, and we're going to start channel 14. So this will be 14, 15, 16, and 17. That's how we're going to process it inside the code. Like that. Alright, so now what we need to do is we need to bring that into the Lua script. So our main oxygen, and this is our secondary hydrogen. And this is our main hydrogen. And secondary oxygen. Yeah. Alright, so now that we have those numbers, in the Lua script, now we need to get them. So we need to say we need 4. So we have our main hydro, main oxygen, secondary hydro, secondary oxygen. Those are our inputs, and we're channel 14, 15, 16, and 17. Alright, so simple as that. So we can have that for now if we wanted to beside this. And we could say, oh, but we need one more. I don't know if that'll work because it's set up for 3, but we can have it outside. So this is MH, this is MO, this is SH, and this is SO. So it's just the total values, right? And then, so it goes to 62. So we could start this at 65 even. And then we could draw another rectangle. And it could be 65. No, 62. 64. The length can be, we could say 16 for now. Oh, 19 isn't going to be big enough for the height. It needs to be a little bit taller than that. It needs to be 20, at least 24. Let's try that. Right, so this is kind of where it starts. We start inventing some code, making some numbers. Those big numbers. All right, big numbers on the side of the screen. They basically take up the whole other half of the screen. So we may as well make that box go to the other side of the screen. Let's see, where are we here? This one here. So this may as well go. 32, may as well be 32. 19. Now, what I want to do is I want to change the color, actually. And I think red is 25500 and blue, and then this one here. So I think 02550 is green. Yeah, there we go. Ooh, that's a lot. They appear to be identical. That's not good. So it would be... would be 96 would be our width. So this one here, if it starts at 64, it's 2 by 3. So telling me 32 isn't long enough. I don't know why it's saying that. And then 14, 15, 16. Oh yeah, they're identical because we have the exact same amount of both gases. That's why we have the exact same amount. The equal number of tanks makes for an equal number of gases. Oh, I'm adjusting the wrong one. Oh, that needs to come down just a little bit more. Oh, I'm getting so close. Getting so close. 19 needs to come down maybe another 5 pixels. You could say 26. 24. You could say 24. Now, this one here, we could say 28. Let's see how that is. Let's see if it's too tight. I like there to be just like a little bit of a space, a 1 pixel space if I can, between the border and the numbers. So the first thing, it's important to get all the numbers you want onto the screen, and then see how you can sort it out, right? You know, like these could come down by 1. There could be another space there. Same with that. They could come down by 1. That looks pretty good though. So that's our fuel. That's that. So now we still have room on the bottom, and we still have room on the side for more, like whatever we want, right? And then what we probably what I'm going to do is I'm going to adjust those boxes a little bit, and I'll put text labels above them, right? Fuel, current position, distance, whatever. And that's going to be in sort of the spaces, and that'll pretty much do it for there. Maybe what I'll do is I'll put a little camera, see if I can get a little camera down in the corner. I'm not sure how to do that, but I'll try. Yeah, so in the next video, that's what we'll focus on. Continuing to label the systems. We'll add the touch screens here for lights and that sort of stuff in here. We need to look at some survival gear. And then we need to get into, now that we have our speed, now we need to get into a position hold. So now we're going to be launching into space, and we're going to be testing out, can we slow down our velocity, and when we do that, what is it going to take for us to try and hold our position? Okay, so that's going to be in the next video. Thank you so much for watching, liking, and subscribing. You are all awesome, and I hope you're having a wonderful Thanksgiving weekend, or potentially coming up in a couple of weeks, Thanksgiving. It's a good time of year. Enjoy.